Hi everybody, my name's Mike. This is my YouTube page, Mox News. Thanks very much for tuning in. I hope you're finding something of value here. I truly do. Okay, so first I want to say thanks very much to Scott and Chico. Um, they were the two people who donated on the last video that I made. And if you'd like to help me continue to build these awesome YouTube archives of amazing videos, um, it's easy to do. There's currently over 7,400 videos on this one Mox News YouTube page. And if you'd like to help me continue to build videos, archives like this, it's easy to do. There's a clickable link in the text body in the description box below this video. So thanks again to Scott and Chico. Now, I wanted to say that on my Bill Press video, which I'll play at the end of this clip, I'll play the short version of me asking Bill Press my question and the response that he gave. But first off, he totally dodged my question. I asked him if if he thought that the Democratic Party would listen to the voters this time around and actually support the legalization of cannabis, get behind the legalization of cannabis as the governor candidate in Florida did, Andrew Gillum, who they were talking about earlier before I came on, and he said that he would support the legalization of marijuana. And I told Bill Press I believe that's why he won. At which point C-SPAN cut me off, which didn't allow me to say, why can't the Democrats see that they're siding with people like Jeff Sessions and the big tobacco companies, when they keep marijuana illegal. And Bernie over and over again during his presidential run in 2016 said, that marijuana being illegal in the United States is a racist policy. And I mean, in the time of Black Lives Matter and diversity and how much Black lives are so important right now, you would think more people would be talking about that clearly racist policy in the United States justice system. And nobody is. But again, Bill Press pretty much proved that he's a gatekeeper along with C-SPAN by cutting me off. Bill Press, did I say Bill Gates? Bill Press said he kept calling cannabis pot. He said, by dodging the question, I said, do you think the Democrats will be smart enough to get behind the legalization movement like Andrew Gillum did, and he got the support to win governor? And then and he totally dodged the question by saying, well, I thought the marijuana and gay marriage, which was going to be first in all 50 states, I often wondered, and which is a good thing to compare it to because it's definitely a civil rights issue. But the thing is he said pot. And nobody who's for legalization, nobody who's pro-cannabis, nobody who's actually, and then he went on to talk about medical marijuana, but nobody who's pro-medical cannabis talks about marijuana or cannabis with the word pot. It's just not really a word that's used unless you're trying to make it a derogatory kind of slur. So he proved that he's just being another gatekeeper and that the Democrats aren't going to get behind because there's all these dinosaurs like him at the leadership of the party, and they won't just, and I'm not talking about the guy who's at the head of the DNC, I'm talking about people like Elijah Cummings, who, I put a clip, he was on Washington Journal about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and I put a clip of him on this amazing YouTube archive, Mox News, and it was him saying that we know that marijuana is a gateway drug, and this is just completely bullshit thinking, because what's a gateway drug is the drug war, is the lying about cannabis. If you just came out and said to your children, marijuana is the only safe drug, it's safer than aspirin. If you just told them that, and you say, eh, there's just a study about alcohol. I'm getting off on a tangent, about how 10% of people who use alcohol regularly are going to die from it. If you just be honest with your children and tell them by the time you get out of high school, you'll know people or know people who died from alcohol. You'll know people who were raped because of alcohol, because they had one drink too many. Tell your kids the truth. Marijuana is the only safe drug. Unlike this jackhole and all the other prostitutes on the local news and the mainstream media, who for years, for generations, have told us that marijuana will make you go crazy and give you the reefer madness, and your white women are going to want to sleep with the black guys. This is what they told you about marijuana for generations. The people, the reefer madness prostitutes, and I'm talking about every single local news anchor, television news anchor, every mainstream media news journalist, they've all looked at you for generations and told you marijuana is bad, and then they bring alcohol out at local wineries and local distillery that's making this amazing scotch or whiskey or whatever it is, and it's poison, and it's a #1 rape drug, and they're promoting it wholeheartedly. They're sitting and go, ooh, this is wonderful. I can't wait to give it to somebody that I can rape later. So, I'm sorry, I went off on a tangent. I didn't mean to. I just wanted to say that, C-SPAN clearly proved that they're gatekeepers by cutting me off and not letting me finish saying, and if the Democratic Party was to say, yes, we are wholeheartedly supporting the legalization of marijuana, who wouldn't want to go to that convention? Who wouldn't want to be part of the party that is wholeheartedly embracing the legalization of marijuana? And the people who don't want to be part of that, who wants anything to do with them at all? Those aren't fun people. Those aren't happy people. Those are haters for sure. So, anyways, and they don't believe in freedom either. They're just wannabe cops telling you how you're supposed to live your life. You drink the drink that gives you the cancer, like all of us. Be a man. Okay, so just to recap, Bill Press and C-SPAN are definitely a part of the gatekeeper society. And thanks to Chico and Scott. And if you'd like to help Mox News continue to build these amazing archives of videos, it's easy to do. You can leave a donation. There's information in the text body in the description box below the video, or you can go to moxnews.com. It's real simple to do. Okay, thanks very much for tuning in. And I'll play the clip of Bill Press and C-SPAN right now. It's about a minute and a half or 2 minutes. Stay cool. Wednesdays, this drug war is going to end. And I would love to be there to celebrate. That's going to be a cool celebration. I would love to be there to celebrate with you all on that day. But I can only do that with your support and your help. Okay? Thanks again.
Let's go to Michael in Seattle, Washington. Independent Line with Bill Press, his new book, Trump Must Go. Good morning.
Hi, Mr. Press. Thanks very much for all your hard work trying to inform the public as to progressive ideals.
Thank you.
I was wondering, do you think that the Democratic Party will actually begin to listen to the voters and begin to get behind the legalization of cannabis? Because I think that's a big part of why Andrew Gillum won in Florida, promising to legalize marijuana.
I missed part of that. There's a little clip there, but I think the question is about
legalizing marijuana.
Well, I think more and more. In fact, I believe Andrew Cuomo in this primary election has reversed or changed his position and now supports the recreational use of marijuana in New York. No, I think I think not just the Democratic Party, Michael. I think the American people are moving in that direction. I used to think there was a race between same-sex marriage or marriage equality and legalization of pot as to which one was going to get to 50 states first. Well, with the help of the Supreme Court, marriage equality got there first. It won't be long before recreational use of marijuana will get there. But there's still, sadly, I think, some states that even haven't, they're not even in the 20th century, let alone the 21st century, haven't even recognized the importance of medical marijuana. But I think particularly in those states like Washington, like Oregon, now like California, starting in Colorado, where legalization has occurred, there have been zero problems, but there's been an avalanche of new tax money for those states. When other states look at this, they're going to go along either by state legislature or by state initiative, but it's going to happen. And while we're talking about Seattle, I've just got to say, you know, one other name that doesn't get mentioned very often in terms of prospects for 2020 is the governor of Washington, Jay Inslee, former member of Congress, great governor, head of the Democratic Governors Association. I think he'll be a real contender in 2020 and should be.
This is a couple of tweets.